Welcome to the Fourth Step Podcast. On each episode, we interview recovering addicts and learn their story with addiction. Through exploring personal journeys, we get a glimpse of the depths addicts fall to and their path in recovery. We hope you enjoy the episode.
I'm Kevin, I'm an addict, and welcome to the Fourth Step Podcast.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
Hi, Kev.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Yeah. This is a special episode. We're doing the second version of the Anonymous one, where we had 4 people just shooting the shit about recovery. And I think we went over like 1, 2, and 3 steps. I can't remember. Anyways, we're going to work a 4th step today, or try to. And a little bit of housekeeping. We want to remind everybody that we have friends in other podcasts. If you follow the Recovery Cast, that is an old school podcast that did the very first type of recovery podcasting. You'll probably look them up. Also, our friends at the Anonymous Podcast, please check them out, and the Living Clean Podcast. And our new subscriber, Jennifer M. All right.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer, we appreciate your contribution to help funding each episode. So, if you want to go around the room, introduce yourself. Clean time, how many years?
My name is James. I'm an addict. Clean date is December 16th of 2024, so I'll have 9 months.
Nice.
Today we've decided that we're not anonymous anymore.
Oh, that's true, yeah. In the first episode, we had A1 and A2.
Yeah. My name's Josh. I'm an addict.
Co-host.
Yeah, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am. My clean date is July 16th, 2024.
Hey guys, Kyle Addict. My clean date is June 17th, 2006. 19 years.
All right on. Very nice. So this episode, we have all made the decision to be the hosts and ask everybody else questions too. And we all have these flashcards, and we got some other questions. So anyone want to start us off?
I think, do
you want to talk about it first?
I'm not a flashcard guy. I'll use them when it's time to use them, but we typically start off, when we do the 4th step, we start off with early childhood trauma.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good way to start. It kind of
I agree with you.
Breaks the ice and gets everybody moving, right? You know? Does anybody want to start specifically? Is that me?
Yeah.
I need to start? What's going on here?
You might have to get the ball rolling.
James?
Earliest
childhood trauma that stands out.
Mm-hmm. My name's James. I'm an addict.
Hi, James.
Hey. I think when I was a baby, the first bit of traumatic experience I had was my mom was killed in a car accident, and also my 2 brothers were badly injured in the car accident also, and so.
Wait, how old were you?
So I was born on March 24th, and the accident was April 30th. So.
Holy cow! So you were less than a year old?
Mm-hmm.
So no memory of that, obviously.
Right. I was in the car. Yeah, actually the only one that's still alive that was in the car accident. But my 2 brothers were injured bad, and so life when I was growing up young, I spent a lot of time with my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
My brother Andy was. He was paralyzed in the car accident and was in the hospital for a long time and had a lot of rehab for years. And so a lot of the focus was kind of shifted away from the baby. My dad was just trying to kind of make ends meet. And so I think that there was some, I don't want to say neglect, but I wasn't priority in the family because, there was other things going on. So as far as trauma goes, I didn't have any abuse from parents, no sexual abuse, no physical abuse, but there was that kind of event that kind of kicked off my life there.
Yeah, growing up with injured, paralyzed siblings, that's traumatic.
Sure.
Looking around, and I just want to say, at any time, if you got questions you want to ask the other people, jump right in.
Yeah, it's open discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else stand out?
Well, I think that a lot of that carried on. I mean, my childhood was, besides all that, my childhood was pretty good. You know, there was like my dad was a really good role model for me, and practice principles that we learn in recovery and all that kind of stuff. And so sometimes I go like, well, how much can I guess really complain when I had this, but if I look deep there, I mean, there was growing up without a mom, and there was some struggles in that, and I think that I don't believe that I was like born an addict. I don't think that happened for me. I think that some of the experiences from life kind of that got created for me, and then when I started using, it kind of helped fill some of those voids that I had experienced in my childhood. And once I felt that, I was like, I'm just gonna continue with this.
Thing
This
I'm
is
gonna
it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like addiction or alcoholism in your family at all?
My mom and dad, no.
Mm-hmm.
But my aunt, my mom's sister, so she's been in recovery my whole life.
Your brothers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kinda
Kinda, yeah.
a little bit. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Like you weren't born into it, but you might have those tendencies in the family.
Yeah.
However that works out, I have not.
Yeah, I think
doctor or
I try
whatever.
not to focus too much on it. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that I know that I'm an addict.
Yeah.
And then I just,
True.
with accepting that I'm an addict, then I accept also what I need to do to treat the disease.
Yeah,
That's it.
regardless of where it came from.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, I'm always curious. I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, maybe if I got a couple extra hugs from mom, maybe I wouldn't have went down this path. I don't know. Who knows? But,
Well, that's what a therapist told me. I didn't grow up in a nurturing, environment, and I had to seek my nurturing outside of my family.
yeah.
I think we learn coping mechanisms, and I also think that there's some people that are probably chemically predisposed to have a higher tendency to lean towards instant gratification and chemicals that make them feel whole.
Yeah.
I think I personally have a combination of both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, knowing what I know now about like my brain and how I work and how I think and who I am, I think it's probably a good combination of both for me.
Yeah.
You crunch the numbers and it works.
Yeah, I did some math and I fucking think I figured out the fucking answers
formula.
for myself. Yeah, I know myself so well. I got it all figured out.
All right.
No, I think it's both for me though. I really do because I can see both things, and I've had some blood work done that that indicates that there is some chemical stuff for me that like parts that are missing that create addictive personalities, especially around stimulants, and so
That tracks.
Yeah, I just know it's both for me,
Cool.
but it's definitely a fucking coping mechanism for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got any more that stands out for you?
Trauma from childhood trauma?
Just in general, like how trauma kind of led to getting loaded, and I mean that's kind of the basis of what we try to cover as the first introduction question for the podcast.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's similar to a lot of stories we hear. It's like that being loved and accepted was, like attractive. So like using and being part of the people and kind of getting that acceptance from people was appealing to me, kind of getting that love from people. And
I
then
think
also
all of us have talked about that.
Yeah.
Before.
It's a
And then
very
also-
common thread for addicts.
And then also how it made me feel. I mean, I didn't feel any of the, any of the problems that I had. It's funny because sometimes I think like when I mentioned that I don't know if I was born an addict, but then sometimes I think back to how young I was when like some of those things started to transpire. Like I remember before like I even really knew what drugs were. I like ride my motorcycle, but I'd park my motorcycle by the front door, and I would sit on it and I'd pop the gas cap off and I'd just start smelling the gas.
You were huffing gas?
Yeah, and I didn't
How
even,
old?
I don't know, probably 10.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah, maybe you were a little predisposed, buddy.
yeah, I don't know.
How did you find out about huffing gas? You just one day you liked the smell of it, and you're like,
I liked the smell, and then I liked the way it made me feel, and then I really liked the smell. Yeah. I remember one time my dad came out there, and I was sitting on the quad. I think I was probably like close to passed out, smelling it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" You know. And I couldn't walk or anything.
I'll never forget, man. There was this guy that I was in facility with when I was a kid, and his name was
No, we don't need his name.
his name was Steven. And I know his last name still, but I'll never forget him. And he was from, I think, fucking Rhode Island or Iowa, Rhode Island, Ohio, something with an O and an I in it. And that's all I can remember. But he super cool kid, man. And he had this fucking tick, dude, and it was from huffing gas.
Oh wow!
And he fucking every once in a while he'd have a little spaz, and his head would fucking tweak to the side, and he'd start huffing and fucking.
It's not good for you. Yeah.
Just making all these weird noises.
From gas, huffing gasoline.
Yeah, from huffing gasoline. I'll never forget him.
All right.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago, and I still remember him vividly.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Was an interesting character, dude.
He's from an I and an O place.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I can't remember shit. I can't remember fucking anything, but I remember that
Remember
kid.
last week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I remember him though. Well, I guess you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can relate a lot to the just wanting to feel loved and get the attention and fitting in. I think that was. That was like the early, not a specific event, but just the overall feeling that I remember from early childhood is like, I'm the oldest of 4, and I think when my parents had the other kids, I didn't deal with it well. And like the spreading out of attention and love or whatever, and then like maybe like me being a little bit of a problem, feeling like kind of sidelined. And just never really feeling like I fit in or feeling loved or wanted. And like I just became kind of rebellious at a pretty young age. And so then my rebellion, not knowing what I was feeling, but feeling like rebellion was the way to deal with it, to get attention, created a bunch of problems. So like my part in it was like I created situations that created trauma, as well as my parents or whatever else may have influenced certain scenarios that feel traumatic to me when I relive them. But for the most part, it's just not feeling loved or whatever. There's a couple of specific events that stand out for me, like my step grandfather was, to use a polite term, was an interesting man, and there was some situations where he had been arrested for like molesting or accused molesting, and like fought it in court, ended up doing some time in either county jail or prison. Other people had brought attention to him doing other weird stuff with kids that never really manifested in anything. And then at a certain point, he like attempted to do some stuff with me, and it didn't escalate in any way that was like super extensive. But the traumatic part of that really for me was telling my parents about it and nothing happening. Like they didn't believe me.
That's as much trauma as actually getting molested.
Yeah, and like fortunately nothing really happened. Like I mean, it was a weird scenario. It was an awkward situation. Like clothes were off, but like there was no touching. There was no like actual physical abuse. But it was definitely like it could have happened. Like it very much could have happened. And then bringing it up, and I think I was really young. I feel like I was like, and I could be wrong about this, but I think I was probably about 7, somewhere in that ballpark, somewhere before 10, after 5, somewhere around there, and I just remember like already not feeling like really like part of, and then I think they were talking about we're gonna go to see them, we're gonna go visit the grandparents, and just feeling scared, feeling weird, and then saying something, and then like I don't know if they didn't believe me, but it felt like they felt like I was telling a story. And I can't remember what the words that were said were, but I just remember going to visit him. Like, we still went to go visit him. We went to see him anyway, and nothing ever came of it. Like, there was no repercussion. There was no consequence. There was no standing up for me. There was no, like, in it. So it was just like, at that point, I remember, like, a switch, like, flipping inside me, like, okay, fuck all these people. Like,
Did
I
you
just
feel
felt
betrayal?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then and then my choices led to a whole lot of trauma. Like, as a kid, like I was getting in trouble early, like getting kicked out of every school, arrested, brought home drunk by the cops. Like,
What age?
I mean, by the time I was 12, 13, that was a regular thing. I'd been kicked out of middle school, kicked out of high school, kicked out of 2 continuation schools, drug charges, probation, vandalism.
A lot of that
Theft.
stuff, though, you can take a lot of that stuff and put it directly as an outcome of your childhood trauma.
Yeah,
Up to a certain age. Like, they say, technically they say like 12 years old, and then you start making decisions on your own.
And that's about what time it really felt like I started really being like
Making choices like
yeah,
that,
it was like 11 or 12. I feel like I was like consciously, okay, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I started making a choice. Like, there was a lot of like friction between me and my mom. My dad worked out of town a lot, and so there was and you know, it sucks to talk about this because hindsight, like, I know my parents did. I like to believe that my parents did the best that they could, but it doesn't really change the reality of the situation. Like, that there was a lot of really unhealthy scenarios that came from me making bad choices or just not agreeing with my mom that turned violent with either her or my dad or both of them.
Yeah, you're just telling the facts.
Yeah, and it just I don't like talking about it much because the relationships that I have with them, I've worked really hard to build, and they still feel kind of strained. And when I talk about it, sometimes I feel like I'm betraying the relationship that I've worked to try to rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, and so it's rough, but the reality is, like, so was childhood for me, and so. You know, as things progressed, things got worse, and at some point they decided that the best course of action was to send me to these facilities out of state, and then eventually out of the country. And like, it was like another one of those confirmations of like, I'm not part of this family. Like, I'm not. This is not like.
Yeah, they don't care about you.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it life should continue for them and for my siblings when I'm going through what was a really, really fucked up, traumatic portion of my life from like 15 to 18 in those facilities. But like, I know, like, they were going on cruises and fucking they were doing shit, you know, like out living, and like it looked like they were happier without me, you know. And so like, I started building up these, building a case against
Resentments?
Yeah, building a case against them, and so it took a lot of work to get around to.
They're having fun, and then in the meantime, you're getting the shit beat out of you by prison guards.
Yeah, yes,
Or
yeah, whatever,
you know,
facility yeah.
guards.
And you know, I got out, and I signed out of the program that I was in Jamaica when I was 18, and then shortly thereafter ran into some old friends, and my addiction just was like, I fucking missed out. I got loaded like one time, and I was like, yep, this is what the fuck I'm doing. And then it was nonstop until incarceration, and on the run and all the shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's enough trauma to cause some wreckage.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff to work on for sure.
Plenty of material.
Yeah. Kyle's got a fucking... me and him went to the same facility.
Yep.
Me, him, and
I remember.
another one of our good friends, all from this general area, missed each other, I think, by like a month apiece. It was like, you were there, or I think it was, Devin was there. Oh, sorry, Devin, for saying your name, but whatever.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, Devin was there, and then a month later, like, Devin left, and then, is that the order?
About that.
Yeah, Devin, Kyle, and then me. We all missed each other by like a month
Where, the one out of country?
in Montana.
Montana.
Yeah.
The wilderness.
Yeah, Montana.
You know what's so weird?
Spring Creek Lodge.
Josh and I had this conversation. He taught me, like, way back. And I remember, like, at 12 or 13, going into my kitchen, and they had the Montana wilderness shit. All the paperwork was on the counter.
Trying
And the
to
only
scare
reason
ya.
I didn't go, because they couldn't afford it.
Oh, yeah.
Had to be, it's private pay.
Yep.
That's the only reason I didn't go. The same place. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Would have been a long time before that, though.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, a couple decades.
I think it's Kyle's turn.
It wouldn't have been within a month of each other, yeah.
Yeah, for anybody that's listening also, too, if you haven't heard the first one or you don't know, Kevin's our sponsor.
Dad.
Yeah, Dad. We're all
Jeez.
sponsored by Kevin.
Just realized
Grateful.
that.
I feel like I could talk about this topic forever and ever.
Yeah, me
and
too.
ever, and I relate it to you guys for sure. My childhood trauma, I was raised by my mom who had, she was bipolar and manic depressive, and she had, she's an addict. And so I feel like that says a lot right there, that all the things that came along with that. I was just talking about last night a traumatic event that happened when I was 7. My mom was intoxicated, and it was midnight, and my sister was playing in an apartment's a play structure, and I was sitting in the car with my mom with the headlights on facing the play structure so my sister could play at midnight. My sister's 4 years younger than me. She was like 3 or 4 years old.
Your mom thought that was normal?
Yeah. And my mom pulls out this gun. It was a .25 caliber pistol with a pink pearl handle.
Nice.
And she said, I wonder how you unload this. And I don't know how I knew, but I knew how to unload it. And I told her how to do it. And she goes, that's not how you unload it. And she pointed at the windshield and she pulled the trigger. And my sister was in front of there and the whole windshield shattered.
Holy
and this
shit.
is just one of many of events of how my life went. And we lived in Antioch at the time when really shit started to pop off with my mom and addiction and leaving my dad. And there were levee roads on the Delta, and she would drive me drunk on the levee roads. And I thought I was going to die, like in the car. And I remember being right around that age, 7 or 8, and she got drunk in Concord, and I had to drive back on the freeway on her lap, steering to Antioch. And then we moved.
How old were you?
7, 8.
Jesus.
We moved to the mountains, and this continued, where now I'm having to drive through snowstorms on it with a stick shift car, and can't even see, and so there was a lot of fear. I would say I was in constant fear, for my life.
Was your dad around?
My mom didn't allow my dad to be in the picture, and my dad kept trying to fight to get us, but my mom always won. And I tried to stay with my mom. I tried to not leave.
Oh.
I wanted to protect her and protect my sister. And my mom, like the story of your grandfather, my mom painted this picture of my dad that he molested us and that he was a child molester. And she would tell her friends, and they wanted to kill him.
Jesus.
And it's not true. And she would tell my friends, my childhood school friends, and they would come up to me like, we're sorry, we heard what happened to you. We're sorry you've been molested. And it was fucked up. It was way fucked up. And
That's a symptom of your mom's mental illness?
yeah. And
Drugs too.
Yeah, and so like weird people in and out of our lives, all late nights and violence, tons of violence. And my mom was violent. My mom was violent towards us, violent towards others, for my whole life. And around 12 years old, she gave me crystal meth, and
She just gave it to you?
What happened was I made friends in junior high. I made friends with a guy. He was a pretty bad kid, and his dad was the drug dealer for our county. And because I had made friends with him, my mom was introduced to the big drug dealer of the county.
It sounds like he was the assigned drug dealer to your county.
Yeah, yeah, and
County approved, yeah.
And then so she had got drugs from the dad, and she gave it to the son. And I walked in, and the dad wasn't there, and I walked in, and he said, "Hey, just go in the room, and I'll bring you some of this," right in front of her. And it was from her, that came from his dad, and he brought it to me, and we said, "We're never going to be like our parents." We snorted it. We're not going to smoke this shit. The next time we did it, we smoked it, and we said, "We're never going to be like our parents. We're never going to shoot this shit." And
Sure.
it wasn't long before we were, slamming dope. And what I can think is that when I put in, it had took the fear away. And
The fear of what?
I feel like
Everything.
probably
Like all the trauma?
all the trauma.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I kind of felt empowered, and I embraced that. I embraced it, and I embraced that lifestyle.
You
And
felt powerless as a kid, like you didn't have any choice on what happened in your
Yeah.
life, and then so it gave you some kind of.
and I was always
control.
scared, and I just didn't
Yeah.
feel scared anymore.
Do a little bit of crank. Fucking, I'm the one now.
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. And it was like widely available. It was easier to get crystal meth. It was crank when it started, and then shortly after that it became crystal meth. But it was easier to get crank than it was to get alcohol. Like, we had to steal alcohol. We were given crank, like, as much as we wanted. And so, just like in the lifestyle, like, there was just so much violence. And it was traumatic. And it wasn't long before I was the one inflicting the violence. And that in itself is also traumatic,
If you want to talk about the main one, have you ever shared that out loud, like with a group level or anything?
I feel like there's more than one main one, though. So it just feels like...
Yeah, the one where you had to fight it in court.
I did. At 17 years old, I was in the wrong place with the wrong people, and I was attacked by a man, and I'm 17 years old, and I defended myself, and I stabbed the guy, and I had been prepared to do that for a long time if that day came, and the day came, and the guy almost died, and I had to go to juvenile hall while awaiting a trial. I had a 5-day long trial, and it was intense. There was 20 character witnesses against me saying this is the kind of guy that this guy is. I was never offered a deal by the DA. Had I been offered a deal, my lawyer would have told me to take it.
Wow.
And I was facing 7 years in CYA on 2 felony strikes. And my mom testified against me in the court.
You're kidding, really?
Yeah, so she came to visit me
That's
in juvenile.
traumatic.
Yeah, she came to visit me in juvenile hall on a Friday night, and I said, "Hey, Mom, on Monday, I'm gonna have to talk about how my upbringing and why I carry weapons and why, about these things." And she said, "Oh, okay, I understand." Monday comes around, she's intoxicated, and she gets on the stand. She said, "He told me he's gonna lie. He said he's gonna lie on the stand."
Wow.
And
Holy shit, dude.
yeah, they gave the guy that attacked me immunity. He was caught with a bag of hypodermic needles and a bunch of crystal meth and a scale and baggies. And they gave him immunity to testify against me because they wanted to put me away. And he testified, and he was one of my best witnesses. He just kept saying, like, "Oh, I don't know him. I don't know anything
Is this
about
the
him."
guy that you stabbed?
Yeah.
Testified against you?
Yeah, yeah. And
But he was just denied everything.
yeah. And
He was about it, dude.
I guess.
He's part of the
He
lifestyle.
he got off. He
Fucker
got
stabbed me, dude. I don't know what
I don't know him. I don't know anything.
I don't know who it was, dude.
I know nothing.
Yeah,
I know nothing.
and okay, interesting thing, like, so
Oh, I'll blow you.
at the end of the trial, the judge, the lawyers had my lawyer was $50,000. My father came up with the money for
Oh,
this.
no kidding.
He had an inheritance. He owned an apartment complex, and he sold it to his sister to give me the lawyer.
Wow.
Holy
And
crap.
that's $50,000. And at the end, there was closing arguments. It was a really big deal, really big case. And the judge listened, and then he said, we'll never know what really happened there that night. But Kyle, what I can tell you is if you continue down the road you're going down, you'll be dead or in prison within 5 years. And I hope you get your life together. And it sounds like this was self-defense, and you're vindicated of the crime. And so after I got out, my dad's like, we're going to have a coming home celebration for you. And we're going to have a pizza party. And I said, well, can mom come? And he's like, what? She just testified against you. And I was like, I want my mom there. And
That Stockholm syndrome.
yeah, so she came. And then when the party was over, she handed me my drug dealer's phone number and said, he wants to talk to you. My dad drove me down to Sacramento, bought me some new clothes because I didn't fit in anything I had because I had gained some weight. And the dealer was in Sacramento. I said, hey, I need you to drop me off here. My dad's like, what? And he's like, he dropped me off there. And we went to the movies in downtown Sacramento. And
You and the dealer did?
me, the dealer, the dealer's wife, and the dealer's daughter. And at the end of the movie, he said, I have to go do something. And he handed me a pistol. And he said, make sure my kids get into a cab, okay? And I wasn't really familiar with city life. And there was, like, people coming up to us. And I was, like, prepared to shoot them. And then I didn't. And they got in the cab and they left. And then I met back up with the guy. And we drove to Lodi and we copped. And he's like, how much were you doing before you went in? And I was like, a half gram. And he throws a half gram in the spoon. And I almost fucking died. And we know about this now, later in life and being in this lifestyle and being in recovery, that's how people die, but I didn't know that then. I've been away for a long time. And so that started a 2-week bender for me, and instant drug-induced psychosis. And then I decided to take my dad up on going to the facility that you mentioned earlier. And I went to visit one in Mexico, and I was like, oh, hell no, I don't want to stay here. He's like, well, you gotta go somewhere.
Was that Cross Creek?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Casa by the Sea.
Casa by the Sea.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to Montana. And then I remember, I was headed to Montana, and they have people that will come and take you there if you won't go. Forcefully.
Transporters,
But I
dude.
was volunteering to go. And
Transport's got me.
yeah, so we flew to Spokane, Washington, me, my sister, and my dad.
What did you think you were going to get out of this program at the time? Since you were
They had a brochure, and there's fishing and rafting and
None of that, dude. Not
no,
a
it's a
single one of
lockdown
those
facility.
things.
But at this point, you were like, I don't want to keep living the way
No,
that
what
I'm living.
happened was
Key cards, dude. No fucking moving around.
what happened was when I got out and I went and saw the dealer and we went to Lodi and we copped and I did that dope.
Mm-hmm.
I had a drug-induced psychosis. I'm a violent criminal, and I had heard word that the guy I stabbed had put a hit out of my head from some people in Pacifica, and they were going to come and they were going to kill me.
So you're just trying to get out.
And I was whacked out on meth, and I thought,
go find
I
him.
need to go kill him. He's trying to kill me, and that's the narrative I was playing. And I wound up where he was, and this is crazy. This is insane. And it dawned on me that this is insane. And I remember someone gave me an Ambien or something. They gave me an Ambien and heroin, and I was I would blacked out. Woke up at one house, then I woke up at another house, and now I'm in this area with this guy, and I'm like, it's all bad, And I'm like, I gotta do something, And so before I go back, if I go back, or if he kills me, and so I took him up on it, right? And then, but I flew to Spokane, Washington, and I get there and I start coming down, and I call my mom. She's like, "Get out of the car! Come! I will come get you right now." But I knew that's bullshit. I needed to go where I was going, and I went. But that's kind of the story with my mom, right? Me and my mom, we used intravenously together. Sick. It was a sick child upbringing, And I feel like Josh too, right? I had worked on clearing some of this up, and I feel bad at times when I have to talk about, or when I choose to talk about how it was with my mom. I feel like I'm betraying her. But on the same token, I've received counseling, I've received trauma therapy, and they said, no, that's not how you should feel. That was fucked up, and you need to understand that wasn't right.
acknowledge it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way to, like, I mean, not the only way, but it's a really, really powerful way for healing, for sure. Being able to talk about it and process it with other people, I mean, and it's such a great example for other people that are struggling with holding on to shit like that don't feel like they have a place to talk about it. Like,
For me, that's something I struggle with still today, is always telling myself that I shouldn't feel a certain way because of X, Y, Z. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like,
my dad struggles with that
Yeah.
so much.
I think Kevin taught me too a little bit about like the word should, right? Like,
It's an expectation.
yeah, and
Elaborate on that, what do
Just
you
to
mean?
be careful, like when I say like I should feel this way or I should.
Oh, yeah.
like,
Shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
Yeah.
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 I'll do it subconsciously.
Yeah.
I'll be like, catch myself, be like, wow, I'm like trying to like, tell myself that I shouldn't feel some certain way.
Yeah. That's like, you don't control your feelings, right?
Yeah. I want to say one last thing is that
I'm so grateful that doesn't happen to me very much. I don't.
You got plenty of other issues to worry about.
I'm just grateful that I don't struggle with that one because that shit
Yeah.
eats me alive, dude. I'm like doing the opposite. I'm like, what am I feeling right now, and how do I process it? I need to fucking figure this out. I better call somebody, dude. There's some weird shit happening right now.
Kyle had one more.
I just was going to say that it was like nothing short of a miracle that the guy that attacked me, that I stabbed, didn't die. It was a miracle that he didn't die, and it's a miracle that I didn't have to do the 7 years in CYA, and that I got another chance, to live a different life that would have changed my life.
Yeah, and that neither one of you had to kill each other on the backside of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like
And-
that.
and-
That's the one thing the facility did provide me, was got me some space from that situation.
Yeah.
You probably, most likely, if you did do the 7 years in CYA, you would
What would have been?
you would have
stay.
picked up a couple more charges.
Yeah, I was
charged as an
yeah.
adult.
I was involved in gangs, and I
Yeah.
was told what to do when I got there.
You probably wouldn't be
and
sitting here.
No,
Yeah, very
so
fortunate
for
you.
sure. And so I don't take that for granted.
Yeah, good. Right on. Well, I didn't have any childhood trauma, so I'm good. I think I've shared a lot on air about all this stuff, but if this is like a new episode, somebody's never heard it before,
I think that's the best way to assume.
yeah. I'm the youngest of three boys. When I was a toddler, my mom and dad got divorced, and my mom had all three boys, and my dad went to pick us up one time. I forget what happened. What I was told, there was a lot of family secrets, but it eventually came out that my uncle was babysitting for my mom when I was a toddler, and my dad was picking us up, and he walked in, and my uncle was shooting up with the three boys in the living room. And so my dad took us and didn't give us back. And I only have memories of growing up with him, and then at 6 years old, my stepmom. And my mom eventually would get us every other weekend. But so having two older brothers and then my dad, my dad grew up like corporal punishment. You do something wrong, you get the shit kicked out of you. And that happened with me my entire childhood. On top of that, there was nobody protecting me against my brothers. And I don't our situation was fucked up, and I have a good relationship with my brothers now, but growing up, my brothers literally would push my buttons to get a reaction. That's the game that they would play. And so I was getting in fights with them all the time. And when my dad married my stepmom at 6 years old, they bought a house. This is in the Bay Area, and he took us out in the backyard. And this is me and my brothers, and put boxing gloves on us, and put us out on the back lawn. And said, you need to fight this out, whatever, trying to teach us to be men. I don't know what the fuck his point was, because I was like a foot shorter and a good 30 pounds less than my older brother. My older brother just stood there and beat the shit out of me while my dad watched. And that's like some of my early memories, and that continued throughout my childhood. Was like the beatings. My mom and my stepmom and dad would beat us if we did anything wrong. You talk back, you got a bar of soap shoved in your mouth, and go stand out in the garage for hours.
I had the bar soap, dude, a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Shit sucks, dude.
It did suck for a long time, but I got it so often that it didn't really bother me after a while. I get Irish Spring in my mouth, and I'm like, all right, I could do that. Yeah, and then, my dad we'd have to pull our pants down. My dad would take his belt off and whip us on the ass. My stepmom would break hairbrushes, wooden spoons over my head. And that continued on until I think I was like 14. My brothers had already left home. They were probably 17 when they left home. And I remember getting hit. My stepmom hit me one time, and the first time I cocked back with a fist, and I was going to hit her back. I didn't, but I think my parents realized at that time that I was going to start fighting back, and they stopped hitting me. But all that to say this, I was labeled as the problem child, right? And I've done like lots of trauma therapy around my childhood. When I was 9, my parents, my dad's stepmom, thought I was a problem child, so they took me to a child psychologist, and like during the intake or the interview, the child psychologist and just me, he had me take my clothes off, and he touched me. So I put that aside, like I buried that for many, many years, thinking there wasn't any sex. So nothing really, it wasn't molestation until I did step work, and I was talking with a sponsee, and he's like, had similar situations when he was growing up, and he goes, no, you were molested. And that word, being molested, is like taboo. And so that really fucked me up. Yeah, there's so much violence for me growing up, and if I talk to my brothers, like every once in a while, we don't talk a lot about it, but I get the impression that they have a completely different view of how we all grew up. Like, teasing me is what they talk about, right? And I remember the beatings. So in their perspective, it's just like, oh, it wasn't so bad.
Right.
But for me,
my sisters and my brother say the same thing. I'm like, dude, we were all fucking with each other. Like, they're like, no, you don't understand. It was like torture.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, shit, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Completely different perspective.
Oh, really?
Growing up.
Well, you're on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I probably took shit out on them, but didn't realize that I was doing it.
Yeah, and you're not the only one I've ever talked to that was like the oldest brother or oldest sibling that's happened. They're like, I had no idea. And then they'd go and talk to their siblings, and their siblings would go, yeah, you fucked with me my whole life.
Yeah,
I go, I had no idea.
That's how they feel, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a good relationship today. Considering the atmosphere that we grew up in, there was, like we were talking about, there was no nurturing. There was no like love and compassion. I didn't see any of that growing up. The first time I ever saw my dad cry, him and I flew out to Scotland, and we were on the first tee at St. Andrews, which is kind of the famous birthplace of golf, and he's like crying. What are you doing, dude? He's like, I never thought I would be here with you, my
He's so
son.
happy to be there.
Yeah, he was crying because he was happy, and it's the first time I ever seen that my entire life. And it was stuff like, I have a hard time now because I've forgiven and gotten past all the specific physical trauma, but into adulthood, the verbal and emotional trauma continued because I worked for the family business, and I continued to work with him. And up until I left the company, it was still shit coming from him And he doesn't know any better. He was abused by his parents. I found out, so I have compassion for him. But I'd be doing something at work, and I'm fucking 45 years old, and he goes, "Yeah, whatever you're doing is stupid. Get out there and do this other thing." And I'm like, I'm working. Why don't you leave me alone? And he goes, "Well, you're wasting time." And I go, "I'm just trying to live up to your expectation." And he would tell me, "You'll never live up to my expectation." I'm like, fucking, that's a knife right in the heart. So that's the trauma that carried on into adulthood. I haven't had that reaction about all that stuff for a very long time, since I started trauma therapy. And I've talked about that before online too, or on air. But yeah, that was it for me. Like a lot of violence. And it wasn't like my dad came home drunk or my mom came home drunk or bipolar or anything. They were just, that was their way of dealing with unruly kids, is beat them. That's the abuse.
I think we could probably segue into first time getting loaded. So you want to just keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go around.
Like I said, I'd go with my mom and stepdad. My mom got married, and my stepdad was like not emotional, like not huggy kissy, but he didn't put up with any shit. When I say that, he didn't let my brothers abuse me, so I felt pretty safe around him. So my brothers were kind of cool for the most part. My oldest brother started smoking pot when he was like 16 or so with the people that we'd go water skiing with. And he got me high the first time smoking weed because I wanted to fit in. And but we'd drink alcohol up until that point, and I remember that feeling. Like getting drunk and passing out and not remembering any of those abusive feelings, whatever that was. But I think the first time that it actually kicked was in my sophomore year in high school. That's when I started getting high, and I dropped out of high school my sophomore year, never completed it, and ran away from home. And as soon as I hit the streets, man, I was getting high like on a daily. And that was like 15 years old, and I was in the system by the time I was 16. Juvenile hall and rehab and group homes and group homes and group homes and emancipation homes. So I was like probably 15 when my addiction took off. But probably the worst is when I did crank. The first time I ever did crank, that's what I knew, like, oh, this is the thing, right? Peanut butter bathtub crank, just the dirty Hells Angels shit, and I was in love. And it wasn't until I was facing 6 years in prison I decided I should probably change the way I live. So that was the first time for me.
Jimmy
Z.
Yeah, Jimmy Ward.
James Ward, yeah. Yeah, I think the huff and the gas, we talked about that. But I didn't really know what was going on there. And I probably around like 9, 10, I started smoking cigarettes. That was kind of like, I guess maybe like my first experience, kind of like, doing some, experimenting with stuff. And I always smoked, so I continued to smoke like from then on. But I didn't really my using didn't really take off. So like through high school, I would, my dad was pretty strict, and my dad never hit me or anything, but I was definitely afraid of him. Like I was scared to get in trouble. And I don't really know what that was about, but and so I never really got in too much trouble. I stayed home a lot. The times that I would use, I'd go over to my cousin's house, and he would my cousin was a little bit older than me, and he would, I was experimenting with smoking pot and stuff, but he would like take me over to his friend's house and stuff, and they'd want to get like the young kid like super high, and so he would like always like keep like do it again, you know, and I'd feel like obligated to do it. But I remember having this feeling like I don't want to do this, you know, kind of a thing, and always like getting too high, and then I can remember in high school, like, the acceptance feeling of, like, going to a high school party and drinking and all that, and kind of feeling the camaraderie around people. And I was like, oh, I really like this, you know? And I had role models for my aunt. Like, I would go to meetings with my aunt, you know, throughout my life.
Yeah,
and
she was in the program, huh?
Yeah, and so I kind of have an understanding of, like, that. And I had, like... some other people that I would see in my life, like, I'm never going to be like them. You know, people who you know, take pills or smoke crank or, you know, those kind of things. I didn't even know what all that was, but I knew that I wasn't going to be like that. And I think that kind of protected me for a long time. Like, I never really wanted to get into that. And so my using didn't really take off until after I graduated high school. I had a roommate, and... he started experimenting with some, like, using cocaine, and so somehow it transpired that I tried it, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and I started kind of doing that on the weekends. And then
Was cocaine like a drug that you go, oh, I'm never going to do that, but you did it anyways? Was there, like, lines that in the
For
sand
sure,
that you
yeah.
crossed?
Yeah. But then at this point, I was like, I'm never going to do meth. I would never do meth, you know? Like, that is, like, that's way past.
Off the table.
Way off the table. And I remember what had happened was I was trying to get some cocaine, and I couldn't get any. And my brother was like, try this. And I didn't even know what it was. At that point, I didn't even want to ask. I was like, he's just like, well, can't get that, but here, try this. And I was like, okay. And so then I smoked some, and then that wasn't even my drug of choice. I mean, I always used meth, but from that point on, it like just took off from there, and it was.
Things seem to progress pretty quickly once you start doing meth.
Yeah, then it was just a cycle for me. I hear people talk about, like, enjoying using and, like, having fun and that kind of stuff, which I never had that. I never had that period of time in my life. It was terrible, and I hated it, and I didn't want to keep doing it, and I couldn't stop. I was so miserable, and I couldn't stop. Just couldn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of cool that you had that realization so early.
Yeah. And so it was just all about more. It's just after that point, it was like, all right, needles, and nothing's off the table anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like everything that I had known up
Garbage
to this point, or how I judge people, I was like, oh, they don't. I was wrong. Like, I didn't know that it was making them feel this way. Like, I didn't know. Like, it was like this.
Yeah.
Something had flipped for me, and it was like, oh, I'm about this. So.
I didn't even know I was a drug addict, honestly, because you know.
Oh, I still wasn't at this point.
Yeah, I grew up being taught that drug addicts shot needles in alleys in San Francisco.
Right.
In the Tenderloin.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there.
If you're doing it in a bathroom at your house, I mean,
That's not up in San Francisco in an alleyway.
Yeah. One time I used toilet water in San Francisco because I couldn't find any water.
Okay, you're definitely an addict. You qualify.
Yeah. I did whatever showed up when I was a kid, leading up to getting sent away, and then I think probably I know I smoked a lot of weed, and I drank a lot, and I probably did sporadically other random stuff. Nothing really stood out. I think I did meth one time, but I don't know if it was like good or what, but I remember like I snorted in the bathroom at school. Some kid put a line on the back of the toilet for me, and I did it, and I remember just like, oh, this is fucking gross, and I snorted, and I got like in my spit, and I spit it out. And so like I probably got high, but like didn't like, there wasn't like a period of time on that day where I was like, yeah, this is fucking cool. So, maybe it wasn't significant enough to have an effect, or it was bunk or whatever. I have no idea, but I remember that.
It was like Ritalin for you. It calmed you down, probably. It made you normal.
Yeah, I don't remember having the aha moment at that time, you know, but I do remember when I came back from Jamaica, I smoked weed 1 or 2 times, and then everybody that when I left, when I got sent away, everybody was like in my head was squares, and then I came back and everybody was partying, and I was like, what the fuck? What happened here?
What happens when you go away?
Yeah, and so and I'm like, I can't do any of that other shit, but I'll smoke some weed. And I smoked some weed, and then I wanted to hang out because I like fucking, all of a sudden I felt like I had friends again. And cocaine and ecstasy was cracking where I was at. Like, it was like a fucking, it was a large fucking movement for the group of friends I was with, and then like everybody we were connected with. So it was just this big, it was, I mean, that period of time in Northern California, anybody from here knows, you know, early 2000s, like it was off the fucking hook with ecstasy. And so I did cocaine and ecstasy really aggressively for about a year. And then I think like pain meds showed up, and then the guy that we were getting pain meds from passed away, and his wife started selling pain meds, and we were over at her house, and I think she was probably trying to sleep with us, and got us spun out and gave us some crank or meth or crystal, whatever, speed. And we fucking figured out how to smoke it and never looked back. I just remember just feeling like kind of the same thing, like this, empowered, and like all of my insecurities went away. And not only that, but I could fucking freestyle for like fucking hours, dude. I could fucking rap for hours. I didn't need to write anything. And it was like a party trick, dude. I just remember feeling like I just could get loaded and be the fucking cool guy at the party because I could rap forever, dude. And I loved it. I loved all of that. And so, yeah, fucking meth.
It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a garbage can drug addict, so like, needles, pipes, I fucking shove shit in my ass, snort it, eat it, fucking, I'll do all of it, dude. I've done it. There was a period of time where I would line it up to where I could use it in all of the ways that I knew how to use it, like in sequence. Like hoop some, snort some,
really?
eat some, smoke some, shoot some. Like I would like line it like, because each way makes you feel a little bit different. So I wanted to see how fucking crazy I could fucking go, you know? And heroin, ketamine, ecstasy, cocaine. There's no drugs that I'm aware of that I haven't done. Psychedelics, barbiturates, all the different kinds of pills. I mean,
We never did that wax shit these days. They got
fentanyl.
what wax or whatever they smoke.
Wax.
I don't know.
Yeah, that
whatever.
wasn't really around.
That was not
hash oil.
Yeah,
Smoked
for
a lot of
sure,
hash
for
oil.
sure.
And like I never knowingly did fentanyl. It wasn't really big. Thank God it wasn't like a big thing when I was getting loaded. So
I did. We had the patches.
Yeah, for sure.
oh, I smoked fentanyl patches.
Yeah, see,
You smoked patches?
Yeah.
Well,
Like
there's
you took the patch and
there's
put
gel
it...
inside of them.
No, you cut them open and you smear the gel on foil.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember, and it fucked you up too. I remember doing that too.
Yeah,
I remember the guy that fucking got me on those. I called him for weeks. I'm like, you got any more of those patches? He's like, no, dude. Fucking, we're out, dude. It's a one-time thing. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Just kept trying to get those patches, dude.
Damn.
One of the rehabs I went to, they talked about they educate you on ways people are getting high, and they talked about something called Gymkin. You ever heard of that?
No.
I've never heard of it. Only in rehab. I'm sure Josh has done it, but somebody shits and pisses in a container, and they put like a balloon over the top, and then the gases go into the balloon, and then they huff the.
said, I'm sure Joe.
No, dude.
Yeah, I was like,
No.
yeah. I mean, I never heard it. But I remember them talking about it to us. In rehab. I was like,
That's actually a thing.
Fuck you, Mr. Ward.
yeah, so yeah. Josh said he's done it all. I know he's done that one.
I don't do that to get high. I just do it because I enjoy it.
It's funny.
Yeah, I like the way it tastes.
Yeah.
That's
Smells.
weird.
Sterile. I like the way it tastes.
We talked about how mine started off, so you guys know how mine started off. But I can remember like a couple of big significant things. I think I was like just about 16 when I decided to start slamming dope, and I was going through a lot smoking it, like quite a bit. You know, I already talked about it was pretty accessible and it was pretty much free, but to what end, right? Like not to the end of the world, right?
Sure.
And I can remember my dealer always saying, "Don't fucking slam dope. You don't even try it because you're gonna like it too much." What a dumb thing to tell somebody.
Especially an addict.
Fuck. And he was trying to look out for me, right? And then an interesting thing. So like that dealer, I was dealing out of his house for several years in an apartment. He moved out of the apartment, and my dad moved into the apartment, that same apartment, because he had to come move
Complex or actual
up the actual unit.
Okay.
And it just happened this way. My dad was living in Folsom, and he had to move up to Amador County, and he moved, and he knew that was available because that was my family friend basically, and we moved in, and so people kept coming.
Oh,
People
no.
kept coming, and one of them was this gang member who I always looked up to, like, because he just was a badass, right? He was a gang member, and he got out one day, and he came there looking, and I was like, he doesn't live here anymore, but I got you, whatever. I was like, let's hang out sometime, you know? He's like, yeah, definitely. And when we did, I told him I had been shooting dope, and I hadn't been. And he shot me up, and you know what? He knew I hadn't been, and he called and told a bunch of people, like, I shot Kyle up, blah, 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 whatever. And thought it was cool, right? So that was a significant moment, because there was definitely no going back from the first time, like,
it's over.
ever again, right? And then, like, a year later, Oxy hit the streets pretty hard. And I tried it. I tried OxyContin. I liked it. I was doing it for a little while,
You smoking it or slamming it?
slamming it.
Yeah.
And
Smoking it
within
is
like
fun,
the
dude.
first 3 or 4 times of getting it, they couldn't get it, but they could get heroin.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you know, and then
Okay.
I really liked it, and then like I was starting to hang out with a couple people. Just there wasn't really big where I was from with crack and heroin. It was like really looked down upon amongst the people I hung out with. It's hella funny, right? But they like really looked down on it. And but I found a couple people that smoked crack and shot heroin, and I was like, this is the ticket. I'll be okay if I just smoke crack and shoot heroin. And that lasted just for a little while because it wasn't really widely available, but meth was.
And you weren't
Fucking
doing it in
freight
an
train,
alleyway in
dude.
San Francisco in Tenderloin.
Right.
So you're not an addict.
I can remember one of the first times I was told that I was an addict. Like, it was by not that dealer, but a dealer. And we had saw a lady at the grocery store at the gas station. And he had asked her, like, hey, where you been? And she's like, oh, I'm clean and in recovery. And I remember thinking, I don't know what the fuck she just said, but stay away from us. Like, I remember, like, what the fuck?
Don't get that shit on
Yeah,
me.
I didn't know, but I just knew I didn't like that language. I was like, fuck, I don't think that, whatever that is. And we got back to the trailer, and we were like getting ready to shoot some dope. And I asked him, what was that lady talking about? And he's like, you know, we're addicts, right? And I was like, didn't know. I didn't go any further with it, but I didn't
Really?
know. I was like, I don't know. What
I
the
could
fuck?
stop whenever I want. I just don't want to.
I don't even.
That was it for me.
No, mine was that. Mine was like.
I'm doing what I'm-
I don't
this is a
fiend for
conscious
it.
choice.
I don't fiend for it because
I just have to have it every day,
Because I
but
always
I-
had it. Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, but yeah. So that it just got progressively worse, and I can remember trying the substituting one for another.
Yeah.
Like releasing our addiction all over again or whatever. Like. And definitely alcohol was the first thing I ever tried. My mom would give us champagne at events, Christmas, whatever. And I can remember I was 7, and after the event was over, I went back in and I drank the rest of the bottle. And that was like the first time I ever used anything like to get loaded.
Did you recognize that it changed the way you feel
I did.
at 7? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was pretty young. Yeah.
You want to you want to fire off one of them?
Yeah, I got a couple good cards to
Cards.
read for you guys.
You know what's interesting is like I grew up like super afraid of needles. Like I was never ever gonna do needles because I was afraid of them, and it got to a point where I'm hanging out with the guys that are shooting crank, and one day I just put my arm out, closed my eyes, and said okay, and I did that twice, and luckily I didn't get high
That is
for
lucky.
some
That
reason.
is
Yeah.
lucky.
I remember one time before I could hit myself, somebody hit me, and I'm like, it's not doing anything. And they're like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, dude, nothing. I don't feel anything. They're like, just give it a second. And I'm like, all right, waited. They're like, put your arm over your head. And I went like this, and it was literally like it just dropped into my fucking spirit, dude. It was like, boom, dude. I was like, whoa. Oh, fuck, dude. Next arm. It buckled me, dude. It was fucking thick. And so I think it was just taking a long time to get to where it needed to go.
It was good for me when I finally learned how to do it myself.
Me
because I
too.
was having to hang out with some really weird people to get it done.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I can relate to that.
Yeah. I got a card that Kevin created for us to check in with you guys. How are you showing your gratitude for your recovery?
Go ahead.
For me, it's one, continuing to show up, like making it a point to participate and be active. Like today is my one day off out of like the whole week, and I haven't been home in like a week, and I'm here because I want to participate in my recovery, and I want to, I want to show my gratitude, and I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself spiritually and mentally and emotionally, because it's definitely easy for me it happens pretty quick where a week turns into 2 weeks. 2 weeks is too long, probably for me. 2 weeks is too long without doing something for my recovery, where then it's the disease is winning, and I'm not in gratitude, and I become resentful, and I become sick, and so I'm showing up, right? I'm showing up for my family, in all the same ways I'm showing up for myself, emotionally, spiritually, right? And being present. And so, I'm sponsoring. I'm a sponsor, and that's another way that I'm trying to show my gratitude. I don't have time to have a stable service commitment other than that at this moment. So, yeah.
You got a lot going on right now too with career wise.
I do. And the finish line is not too far out. And
It keeps moving though.
it really keeps moving.
It'll move again.
I want
I don't know, dude. I think it's coming close, dude.
Yeah.
Once-
I just tell you because I sponsor you that you've been pretty consistent with doing what's asked of you and paying attention to what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Cool. So I guess I show my gratitude with sponsees, you guys,
Yeah.
or at least that makes me feel grateful that you guys trust me. I am grateful for that.
You're
A
welcome.
lot of yeah. Fucking James. A lot of times in recovery, like sometimes I don't feel worthy, like just that self-talk, and so I show my gratitude when I show up for meetings. Like I might not even have a service commitment there, but I'll show up for the business meeting because I want to support the meeting, and I'm grateful the meeting's there. I show up for my family, like my kids, whenever asked if they need help. I'm grateful that I have my kids in my life today. I got 3 adult children, but there's times in, a couple of their lives where I wasn't their favorite person for whatever reason, and so they didn't talk to me for a while.
We go through that too. No, I'm just kidding. just kidding.
My children.
I'm just kidding.
You fucking guys are killing
We all know I'm his favorite, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, my actual children. Fucking guys.
Dad?
And the
Did you run that by Dad?
Sorry, kid.
that's all right.
Yeah, it comes in waves.
These guys. So Josh and James will be talking to each other, and Josh will,
Say some crazy shit.
we'll go, hey, I have this fucking awesome idea. And James is like, you're fucking nuts. Did you ask Dad yet?
It'll actually be an awkward silence. It'll be something like, I'm thinking this, and this, and he'll just be quiet. And I'm like, I'm telling Dad.
Then I get a phone call from Josh, like right away, because he wants to be the one to tell me.
And then I'm texting you.
Yeah, I get a text from James. Josh has something to tell you.
Yeah, you better check on Josh.
Yeah. Or the text would say, have you talked to Josh lately?
Yeah.
Just to nonchalantly see if you checked in. Yeah, showing gratitude. I mean, I work with my sponsor. I work the steps. I'm continuing to do the program. I don't know. And this podcast is a way for me to show my gratitude and give back. Like, I don't do this for recognition. I think Josh and I had a conversation that we don't even really give a shit if anybody hears this. Really, I hope somebody like gets something out of it.
It's a really
Right.
good form of service.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps us connected with the program, our program at least.
I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I really would like to figure out how to make myself more available for it, because I benefit from the process personally too. Like, I really enjoy doing it, and life's just been so busy. And then, I mean, it's an hour and a half drive to get out here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a lot,
I can tell personally for me, I benefit from you guys a lot. I mean, I've listened to all the podcasts. I put it on when I'm working, and it's like I'll be struggling, and I'll put on the podcast, and I'll just listen, and it's like that magic that happens when you sit in a meeting and you feel that kind of, I get that from
Something
it.
connects
So
for you.
I really appreciate what you guys do. Yeah.
Sick, dude.
That's cool.
Do we need,
Yeah.
do we need to take a break?
Oh, break time. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate you being here and being part of this community. Just a quick heads up before we wrap. The people we talk to on this show are just sharing their own personal stories. They do not speak for any specific recovery program or group. It's just their experience, strength, and hope. Well, that's it for now, and please remember that you can follow us on any of your streaming platform that you listen to. And somewhere in there, on that streaming platform, there is a donate button if you care to help out with our monthly fees that we have to pay to produce each episode. And there's a follow button. There's also somewhere on your streaming platform you can text us and send us a response or email or check in. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.